Hi. How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a good week. Woo! So I'm here with you today. Happy to be here. But I have to say that some unexpected things happened at my company at Little Gay Book um, that require me as a CEO to just be really take a deep breath and recognize that, even though we want things or I want things to be like to feel, I don't want to say, basically the idea is that we don't have control over everything. And um, I need to just accept that even if I feel strongly about supporting success in the environment that I create, that everybody comes in with their own challenges and their own things that are going on in their world, in their life, and we don't always know what's coming up for people. So I think today I want to say my message is that it's important to really send love to people, even when things happen that you are nonsensical. You can't make sense of it, right? And they may hurt you in the midst of them taking care of themselves indirectly, but they've got things going on. And I think it's important to not assume that it was intentional in any way and just wrap them with love and recognize that everything in the end will ultimately be okay. I think I'm not the only one that finds themselves in this position sometimes. I think we've all been there where something happens that negatively impacts us, and the intention was really for things to be good and feel good, and you recognize that you just don't have all the information and that you don't have all the control. So ultimately, I guess it's about surrendering and recognizing we don't have control over everything. So that's my personal thought for today. Hopefully that made some sense and it was articulate because it's just coming straight, you know, out of my mouth from inside of my soul without any forethought or prep. So hopefully you take something valuable from my share today. And let's just jump into the topic I want to cover, which is working through your fear of commitment. I know a lot of folks have fear of commitment, and I think um, it's helpful to just like highlight that and think about how do we overcome this fear? Because ultimately what's most important in life is human connection, authentic connection. And what does that require? It requires us working through and overcoming our fears. So fear of commitment is frustrating for everyone in a dating scenario. It's difficult to date someone who seems to run hot, then cold, or who seems like a perfect partner, but then backpedals whenever things seem to be going really, really well. So disappointing, right? And it's difficult to be the person who struggles to settle into a relationship or who never feels quite comfortable, even or especially when things are going really well. Is a fear of commitment an immutable characteristic, or is it something you can actually work on? Today, I want to share how I recommend going about this. How do we tackle this? Is it actually a fear of commitment? We may have accusations of commitment phobia leveled at us if we're saying no to a relationship, pushing to move slower, or saying we want to keep things casual. But none of these things are inherently bad or problematic if they grow out of a sense of sustainability and protecting our own boundaries. How can you tell the difference? Are you feeling like the kind of dating relationship they describe doesn't sound good to you? Are you feeling like you aren't sure how you feel about them? Are you feeling like you aren't interested in relationships right now and are happy being single? Are you feeling like you're working on not moving too fast in relationships in general? Are you feeling like you're comfortable with casual connections and want to stick with those for now? These are all questions to consider. And they're all reasonable and perfectly healthy ways to feel. Not wanting a serious relationship isn't a sign that anything is wrong with you. And sometimes if something feels unnatural or forced, it's because you just aren't compatible with that person. But I want you to notice whether any of the following things I'm going to name right now are true for you. You're panicky, resentful, angry, or extremely anxious when conversations come up about the status of the relationship or next steps in the relationship. Avoidant about making plans or communication, even though you like this person. Find yourself downplaying the relationship or your feelings. Your actions don't match your words. You say you want something serious, but you find yourself slowing things down with a partner, or you sleep over every night, but you say you only want something casual. You notice yourself backing out of other things, jobs, plans with friends, travel plans, new hobbies, because you get cold feet or you start to worry about what might go wrong. Then you may want to think about working on your relationship with the idea of committing to someone or something if these things that I just named are true for you. What are you actually afraid of when you're afraid of commitment? Oftentimes, the basic anxiety at the heart of commitment fears is avoidant attachment. Is the same as the basic anxiety at the heart of clinginess, which is anxious attachment, insecurity and fear of getting hurt. If you notice your heart rate spike and an urge to run for the exit when a date brings up sleeping over, it may be worth noticing what story you're telling yourself in that moment. For example, is it you're worried too much will be expected of you and you won't be able to live up to it? You feel the other person likes you more than you actually like them. You might grow too attached to them and feel hurt if things don't actually work out. You feel like taking another step would fully commit you to a life together. You've seen intimacy or relationships as harmful in your family of origin in the past. You feel suffocated or you worry that your partner will end up controlling you. Depending on your date and the dynamic, some of these relationship fears might be more reasonable than others. It's unlikely that sleeping over after a date will mean you are somehow trapped into marrying someone and staying with them for the rest of your life. But it is possible that someone likes you more than you like them, or that there's a possibility you might feel claustrophobic at some point, especially if you lean more towards the avoidant side of attachment. Practicing the self-awareness to know what you're reacting to and why it worries you can help you figure out how likely it is and how to work with it. In what ways can you mitigate the fears you're facing? If you're feeling really commitment phobic, it may feel like you should swear off dating altogether, or at least stick only to casual connections. If you generally feel like you don't have capacity or skills to be a good partner to someone right now, then that's a great idea. Setting healthy limits on the level of emotional intimacy in your dating life is appropriate as long as you practice what you preach. Telling someone you aren't ready for a relationship and are only looking for something casual doesn't count for much if you're also meeting their parents and giving them a key to your apartment. But maybe you're interested in dating in a more emotionally vulnerable way. It's still possible to work on your fears of commitment at the same time. It's okay to take things slow and important to communicate honestly with your partner. Try to be vulnerable and open as possible about what you're feeling and why. A partner who's compatible with you will be able to understand, and they'll be patient if you say you need time because you're working through issues with trust and whether relationships are safe. Because they know if you do your own personal work, it's going to benefit them. It's going to be for the greater good of the relationship. How can you work on your relationship to vulnerability and risk? Ultimately, we're only as comfortable with vulnerability and intimacy in our relationships as we're comfortable being vulnerable and intimate with ourselves. If there isn't some level of personal work being done to change your relationship with emotional vulnerability, then it's easy to end up repeating the same exact cycle over and over again in relationships with others. Often our fears of commitment and the intimacy it implies are fears about being truly seen or witnessed by another person. Working on your relationship to yourself and building the skills for resilience and distress tolerance, even if a relationship doesn't work out the way you had hoped, can help prepare you for the emotional risks for a commitment phobic who wants to date, maybe with the support of a therapist counselor. So it's like you want to be doing this work regardless because it's going to allow you to show up more authentically with more vulnerability, with more agency and resilience if you're doing this work. Whether you're in the right relationship you're supposed to be in for the rest of your life, right now it's right for you to be doing this work because it's going to benefit you and everybody around you that you love and care for and people that you don't even know. that will come into your life in the future. So that's what I got for y'all today. Love you, appreciate you, take good care of yourselves, and I will see you next week.